I'm just going to go through a very quick video, an overview of our lesson today. Basically, I opened up this picture, I right-clicked on the image within the folder, and I opened with Photoshop, so it automatically opens up in the aspect ratio that I took it in. We're going to change the canvas size, because I want this to be a banner. I'm just going to say 1000 with 250 high. Proceed, because it's going to clip my image. And now I'm going to need to transform it. Free transform. You hold down Shift. There it is. Control plus is to zoom in. And right now it's showing my background because I duplicated the background and now that's just my reference copy. So I'm just going to, first of all, I'm going to accept my size change by pressing enter, and I'm going to hide this image here. So I want to make a banner. I want to have some words in there, obviously. Course title. Number 1. I can move this along. Change the color to black. There we go. Now I need a background. So I'm going to import a picture. How I usually import it is I open up a image. It's not letting me because I'm still editing my layer. There we go. My text layer. So open. And I'm going to choose. Okay. So it opens up a new project tab, as you can see. This is what I'm working on. This is what I imported, or opened, sorry. And this is kind of what we want to get to. This is banner, the title, and the picture. So what I want to do is I want to get this banner, this picture into that other project. So what I do is I select, Control C, copy, and Control V. And as you can see, this is larger than I want it to be. So again, I want to free transform. Hold down Shift as I slide it along. And it's a little bit bigger than my canvas size, so it's okay. And then enter to accept. And now it's covering all my layers, so I'm going to move it down to the bottom. There we go. Okay, you know, I don't really like that right now, so I'm just going to hide it. Create a new layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the eyedropper tool, and I'm going to choose a color that I like in the picture. And I'm going to paint bucket over. You know what, I think I want that a little bit lighter in color. So we'll just choose that. That's a bit better. We'll make it a little better later. Okay, so I want to create a banner or a border within my banner. So I'm going to select that square. I'm going to select inverse. Now I'm going to choose my paintbrush and I'm going to make it a darker green. Go OK. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go black. And the reason why it didn't show up black is because my opacity is set to 51. So I'm going to go Control Z, or I can go into my history and I can go back. And I'm going to change the opacity to 100, and then I'm going to draw out that line. So what it looks like is a very hard border. I'm just going to go back so that I have my inverse. And with my paintbrush, I'm going to tell it that I'm going to change the paintbrush to a circle, and I'm going to change my hardness. I'm going to select out. And to adjust the edging of this selection, I can select my marquee tool, and I go to Refine Edge, and it will preview how my edge appears right now, and it's a very solid line. to adjust that, I can feather it, and it'll make it softer. Smooth it out. You can create a contrast, which would, again, create a hard line. It does smooth out the corners when you do the contrast and the feathering. You can see how it rounds it out. And then I'm happy with that, so I'll press OK. So again, I need my paint brush larger, and as I paint, you can see that it is painting a texture, which I didn't realize. I don't want that. I just want a regular brush. What you can do is you can add or, append brushes, and then it'll just add the brushes on here. So I don't want those kind. I want basic brushes. Sure, we'll try that. There we go. I just want a basic 19 pixel hardness, maybe 55. That's better. But I want the opacity a little bit down. There we go. And I can do this a lot easier if I choose a higher pixel, right? Then I can just do it in one sweep. Because if I go over it again, because my opacity has changed, it'll create those dark spots if I go over it again. But that might look cool, so maybe I'll just leave it like that. I have to move my picture. And to get it precise, you want to hold down the control bar, or the control key, so it doesn't lock. There we go. Enter. And now I want to smooth out my edges on the picture here. So my erase tool, my brush, my opacity, I'm going to change. And I'm going to change the hardness as well. It's already at 0. But then I'm just going to increase the size, and I'm going to run the edge of my brush along. But actually, I'm going to make my opacity 100 because it still has the hardness taken down, so that alone will make it a lot softer for the edge. I don't need the opacity change. And you know what? I think I went a little bit too far on that, so I'm just going to go back. So instead of doing that, I could also go to the layer, double click in the blank area here. I'm going to do an outer glow. You can see that it creates a yellow glow, but I want to go into that, so I select the layer outer glow and change the color to, and the eyedropper automatically shows up, to a dark brown that's already in the picture. I'm going to press OK. I'm going to make the opacity over there. I'm going to increase the spread, the size, and it's not really showing up. It's probably because I need to be in normal or dissolve. I'm going to choose normal. But you see that spread is very, very big, the size. Change that. It's just about fiddling, really. And I think that's too black, so I'm going to choose darker brown. There we go, and press OK. Okay, so with this I want to, it looks too clean for me. I want to put a little bit of texture in. So we're going to go back to this layer here. Remember we had this and we hit it? Well, we're going to make it so that we see it. I'm going to change the opacity of this layer and see what it looks like. I don't really like how the top layer looks with the opacity change, so I'm going to switch the layers around and change the opacity of the top layer instead. So again, I don't really see the border, so depending on how much you increase or decrease your opacity, it definitely changes the way it looks. So I kind of like the look of just the texture just showing. I don't like it too much. It just takes away from what the actual element is, which is the photo and the title. So you just want a little bit of texture. So that's what we got so far. What we can do now that we have this layer selected and you have that border, you can actually take your paint tool and change the color. Just going to hide that texture right now. But you can change the color like that. But when you're in your paint tool, you can also change the opacity of your paint that comes onto the layer. So that's a bit subtle. Just like that. And then I'm going to add my texture back and see what it looks like. The one thing I'm really noticing is the title, how it kind of stands out. Everything else has nice borders and is faded around the edges, but the title just is too flat and straight. So again, to affect the title, you can double click in here, and I want to put a drop shadow of it for it. So you can change the angle of your drop shadow. You can adjust the spread, size, very similar to what we did with the border and the outer glow you can do with drop shadows. And there's other effects in here like textures, contour, so you can make it look 3D. You have an inner glow. We did the outer glow, inner shadow, all that stuff you can do in here. So I like that. Kind of brings it into the whole thing. So yeah, that's it.